My folks' 30th wedding anniversary bash was meant to be laid back, just kinfolk. Some killer Italian catering from that joint in Little Italy, and no fireworks, except the good kind. But the instant I pushed through the doors of the rented hall in Oak Park, arms full with a bunch of their go-to lilies and that fancy cab Dad swears by, I clocked it. A seating chart scribbled in Brooke's neat-as-a-pin script, stuck to the wall by the entry. Bam! There I was, Kendall, shoved to the side table near the coat check with Uncle Ray and Cousin Nina from Mom's crew. The leftover spot. While the prime real estate up front was jammed with the complete setups. Brooke cozy with her hubby and their two munchkins, Travis slung around Sarah with their fresh-out-the-oven baby, even hitched cousins toting tots. It slammed into me like a gut punch. 28, busting my ass as an RN in Northwestern's ER, juggling lives like it's nothing. But no ring, no Rugrats? Still the black sheep. My blood boiled, heart hammering like I'd just wrapped a trauma call. Was this the straw that broke the camel's back, where I finally laid it out? What went down next shook up my whole family tree. And before we get back to the story, would you be kind enough to give this video a like? You know, every single like means a lot to me. It's the kind of encouragement that keeps me creating and bringing you even better stories tomorrow. I'm Kendall, 28, grinding as a registered nurse in the emergency room at Northwestern Memorial, downtown Chicago. Not the glossy TV drama stuff, but real-deal chaos. Stabilizing GSWs, calling codes on heart attacks, teaming with docs to keep folks from flatlining. 5 years deep, I've hustled from green grad to weekend charge, managing bays that make your head spin. It covers my snug one bed in Wrigleyville, tickets to Cubs blowouts, and the odd Giordano's deep dish binge. No man, no minis. Just me, my pound pup Scout, and a setup that's all mine. But to my clan, that's the running gag. They've pegged me as the eternal kid sister who hasn't leveled up. Cut to me at 15, Brooke's rehearsal dinner. Her spinning in that veil while I'm corralled in the back with the flower girls, nursing watered-down pop as the upstairs crowd clinked bubbly. "You're a whiz with kids, Kendall," Mom beamed like it was gold star material. That zinger lodged deep, stacking up over time. Every cookout where my double shifts earned a pat, that's swell. But Travis's sales spikes or Brooke's PTA coups got the full fanfare. The hall hummed with that phony holiday vibe, fairy lights strung over tables heaped with antipasti and crusty garlic knots. Air thick with marinara and herbs. Chuckles rolled from the VIP zones where Mom and Dad reigned, Travis's arm hooked around Sarah as the infant gurgled in her carrier. Brooke zeroed in first, her embrace all quick pat. "Kendall, lilies, spot on for the adults section." She flicked to the chart, then me, with that "oh poor you" smirk. "Had to rejig seats? Primes are stuffed with pears and peanuts." "You're with Ray and Nina over yonder. Singles club, right? Fun like the old days." "Fun?" My insides twisted like a knotted IV line. This wasn't new. It echoed every family gig where my solo status demoted me. From Thanksgiving last year, parked with the tweens while the grown-ups swapped life hacks, to my own nursing pin ceremony where they clapped politely but grilled on my dating drought. The hurt had been simmering since I was a tween, always the reliable one shuttled to the sidelines. "You serious?" I hissed low, edge creeping. Brooke waved it away. "Aw, come on, it's sensible. You can watch the flow, and you're killer at loosening things up. Plus, space for Travis's killer deal spill and my volunteer boom. Grown convo." Grown convo. First layer, the shutdown. My mind whirred. Did she blank on my recent ER heroics, pulling a kid through a pileup that hit the trib? Nah, that scored a thumbs up in the chat. Second layer? The pity. Like my independence was a defect. I fired back internally. "Brooke, I'm 28. Saving lives, not your on-call sitter." Her grin tightened. "Don't blow it up. One night." Third layer. The mind game, painting me as the hysteric. Just last week, I'd yanked a brutal overnight, then tanked a setup with a cafeteria guy from work. Solid enough, but he hammered on popping out kids pronto. Time's ticking, he dropped, straight from the family playbook. Why chase that trap when my freedom's golden? I eyed the setup. VIPs gleaming with stemware, flames dancing. Ours? Dixie cups, crayon stash, kitty mats like a timeout zone. Ray scrolled his feed. Nina gave a stiff nod, her split still fresh. Mom met my stare, fidgeted, but clammed up. Dad glanced at his Rolex. Travis shrugged. Sarah's lip curled, the buildup crested. This wasn't logistics, it was them fencing me out. Fine. I'm Kendall, 28, hustling as an RN in the emergency department at Northwestern Memorial, downtown Chicago. It's not the glitzy Grey's Anatomy vibe, more like controlled mayhem, where I'm triaging walk-ins with chest pains, stitching up bar fight casualties, or coordinating with surgeons on a kid who swallowed something they shouldn't have. 5 years in, I've clawed my way from wide-eyed newbie straight out of nursing school to charge nurse on the graveyard shifts, calling the shots when the ER turns into a zoo. It pays the bills for my cozy one-bedroom in Wrigleyville, where I crash after 12-hour marathons. Plus it funds my guilty pleasures like front-row Cubs tickets or a loaded deep dish from Lou Malnati's on off days. No partner, no kids, just me and my scruffy rescue mutt scout, who greets me at the door with that tail wag that says he's got my back no matter what. We've got our routine, morning jogs along the lakefront path, him sniffing every bush while I pound out the stress from the night before. It's simple, but it's mine, and honestly, after seeing families fall apart in the ER, divorces turning ugly over custody, or parents crumbling when a scan comes back bad, I've got zero regrets about flying solo. Why tie myself down when life's already a roller coaster? That freedom lets me dive headfirst into shifts without worrying about daycare drama or date nights gone south. But to my family, my setup's the punchline that never lands. They've always treated me like the perpetual little sis who hasn't quite hit her stride, even as I rack up wins that should count for something. Flashback to Brooke's wedding when I was 18, fresh off my first semester in nursing school. The venue was this swanky spot in the suburbs, all crystal chandeliers and white tablecloths. Brooke was the star, gliding around in her gown, while I got roped into babysitting the ring bearer and flower girl in a side room, feeding them goldfish crackers and keeping them from wrecking their outfits. Upstairs, the toasts flowed like champagne, everyone cheering Brooke's next chapter with her high school sweetheart. Mom pulled me aside later. "You're so patient with the little ones, Kendall. You'll make a great mom someday." Like that was the end game, not the fact I'd just aced my anatomy finals or landed a scholarship. It stung, but I brushed it off. Family, right? Layer after layer built up, though. Like at my pinning ceremony 2 years later, when I finally got that RN badge. I'd invited the whole crew to the auditorium at UIC, beaming as they called my name. Travis showed up late, yawning through the speeches, and Brooke texted apologies about a kid's soccer game. Mom and Dad clapped, sure, but over dinner at Portillo's afterward, the convo shifted to Travis's latest sales quota crush. "That's my boy, closing deals left and right," Dad boomed, while my milestone got a quick, "Proud of you, hun," before Mom asked if I was seeing anyone serious. My chest tightened like I'd been holding compressions too long. Why did my grind always play second fiddle? It wasn't just the big moments. The everyday slights piled on, too. Take last month's mass casualty drill at the hospital. We'd simulated a L-train derailment, me leading the triage team, barking orders as victims poured in. Pulled it off without a hitch, and Dr. Patel, our attending, slapped me on the back. "Kendall, you're the glue holding this together." Felt like a high, especially after mentoring the new grad, Jamie, through her first sim. Jamie's this sharp kid from the South Side, all energy and questions. We've bonded over coffee breaks, her venting about med school loans while I share war stories from the floor. "You're killing it out there," she told me post-drill, eyes wide. Makes me want to stick with ER. That validation? Gold. But when I snapped a pic of the team and tossed it in the family group chat with a nailed the drill today, lives saved in sim, crickets from mom and dad, a thumbs up from Travis, and Brooke's cool beans before she flooded the thread with pics of her kids' Halloween costumes. My saves in the real world, pulling a guy through a OD last week, holding his hand as the naloxone kicked in, watching his eyes flutter open. Those get glossed over, while their milestones get parades. Why chase their script when my path's lit up by beeps and IV drips? Still, standing there in the hall, the old wounds ripped open wide. If they couldn't see me now, when would they? Still, standing there in the hall, the old wounds ripped open wide. If they couldn't see me now, when would they? The buildup hit redline. This wasn't about chairs. It was them drawing lines, me on the outs. I locked eyes with Brooke, my voice steady but sharp as a scalpel. Brooke, this isn't sensible. It's you shoving me aside because I'm not checking your boxes. No hubby, no kids, so I'm what? Chopped liver? She blinked, that pity grin faltering for a beat before she doubled down. Kendall, don't twist it. We're just making room for the families. You get that, right? You're awesome at rolling with it. Always have been. Awesome at rolling with it. Layer 1, the pity play, like my single status was a handicap I should own with a smile. My fists clenched at my sides, nails digging into palms. I flashed to last Easter, when I'd shown up with a homemade quiche after a killer shift, only for Mom to park it on the kids' table while Brooke's store-bought pie got prime spot. You don't mind, do you? You're so easygoing, Brooke had said then, same tone. Easygoing, code for pushover. I wasn't biting this time. Easygoing? That's your spin? I've got a career saving lives, not playing house. Remember that kid I stabilized last month after the hit and run? Front page stuff. But here, I'm demoted to the rejects because I'm solo? Brooke's eyes darted to the main tables, then back, her voice dropping to that condescending whisper. Come on, you're overthinking. It's logistics. Couples need space for the high chairs, the whole shebang. And honestly, you'll have a blast with Ray and Nina. No drama, just chill vibes. Like when we were kids, you always lightened things up. Lightened things up. Layer 2. The gaslight. Flipping it like I was the one manufacturing beef. My cheeks burned. I caught Travis glancing over, eyebrow raised. But he looked away quick. No backup. Sarah whispered something to him, smirking. Mom fidgeted with her napkin, eyes pleading for me to drop it, but she stayed zipped. Dad cleared his throat from across the room, like he sensed the tension but chose his phone instead. The loop ramped. First Brooke's brush off, now the silent complicity from the rest, piling on the isolation. I tried to swallow it, play nice one last beat, red herring to myself maybe. Slid into my assigned seat at the side table, picked at a breadstick, forcing a nod to Nina's awkward, "Hey, long time!" Ray grunted hello, eyes on his screen. But inside, the resolve hardened like setting plaster. No way I'd sit through toast to their perfect lives while mine got footnotes. Fine. I pulled out my phone under the table, thumbs flying to Mia. SOS. Fake crisis call in 10. Make it sound legit. Her reply buzzed back almost instant. Got you, girl. On it. Spill the tea after. Sounds like family crap again. Mia's my ride or die, the social worker who's patched me through every kin curveball since nursing school. I set the lilies dead center on their fancy table, a silent screw you, then flagged the server mid-stride. Separate check for me, please. Just the water and this app plate. She nodded, no questions, as I slid my card. Tipped her double what the water cost, because why not? One last sweep, them clinking glasses to Mom and Dad's enduring love, oblivious as ever. I slipped out the side door, the Chicago night air hitting like a reset button, crisp, and carrying that faint lake tang. Freedom washed over me, sweet as post-shift coffee. No more pretending, no more sidelines. But as I hit the sidewalk, phone already vibrating with their incoming fire. I wondered if this exit was the end or just the spark. But as I hit the sidewalk, phone already vibrating with their incoming fire, I wondered if this exit was the end or just the spark. The L train rumbled overhead, its screech echoing my jangled nerves as I hustled to my parked Honda a block away. My heels clicked against the pavement, each step pulling me further from the hall's glow, but the buzz in my pocket felt like invisible strings yanking me back. I slid into the driver's seat, the leather cool against my flushed skin, and cranked the engine. Ignored the pings for now, let 'em stew. Blasted some old-school Chicago blues on the stereo, Buddy Guy's gravelly voice growling about breaking free, the bass thumping in time with my pulse. Fitting armor for the drive home through the night-lit streets, headlights cutting through the fog rolling off the lake. By the time I unlocked my Wrigleyville door, Scout bounding up with his sloppy welcome licks, the notifications had snowballed like unchecked vitals in triage. 15 texts, 4 missed calls, felt like a code blue in my purse. I kicked off my shoes, poured a stiff glass of that emergency Cabernet stashed in the fridge, and sank onto the couch, Scout curling at my feet. Finally scrolled the fallout, the screen's glow harsh in the dim room. First hit. Brooke at 7:45 p.m. Kendall, where'd you disappear to? We're in the middle of the toasts. Mom next. Honey, everything okay? Call back. We're worried. Travis. What's the play here? You just dip? Brooke ramping. That was embarrassing. Everyone's asking. What gives? I could picture her, iPhone glued to her palm, face pinched as she spun it to the table like I'd pulled a vanishing act for kicks. Layer 1 of their classic routine. Feign confusion like I'd ghosted without cause. But I knew the game. This was them dodging the real beef, flipping the script to make me the flake. Sipped the wine, its tart bite steadying me as more rolled in. Brooke. Seriously, it's Mom and Dad's night. Don't be selfish. Selfish? That word twisted like a bad IV stick, dredging up the sludge. Flashed to my 25th birthday 3 years back, when I'd splurged on a rooftop spot in Lincoln Park, invited the fam for apps in skyline views. Pumped after landing my first full-time ER gig, I figured it'd be my turn in the spotlight. Brooke rolled in an hour late, kids in tow, moaning about traffic from soccer practice. Travis bailed last minute with a client dinner text. Mom and Dad showed, handed over a generic card. Wishing you find your way soon, scrawled inside, like my badge and scrubs weren't proof enough I'd already mapped it. We nibbled sliders, they dipped early for bedtime routines, leaving me with the tab and a half-eaten cake. You're so independent, Mom had cooed on her way out, as if that excused their no-show energy. That night, I'd sat alone on the rooftop, wind whipping my hair, tears hot on my cheeks, questioning why my markers always got the short straw while theirs demanded parades. Selfish. Yeah, right. The inner skirmish fired up, a tug of war that had me gripping the glass tighter. Part of me, the one raised on family-first mantras, felt the guilt worm in. Maybe I was the buzzkill, torpedoing their milestone over a seat chart. Their blood. Suck it up. Text sorry. Patch the peace. But the other half, the one fed up after years of their digs, roared back. Hell no. You've played doormat too long. Boundaries now, or they'll never get it. The texts kept pinging, escalating the head games. Mom. Your father's upset. We didn't raise you to bolt like this. Upset? Where was that energy when they sidelined me? Travis chimed in. Overkill much? It's just a table. Just a table. Brooke doubled down. Kendall, Mom's tearing up now. At least confirm you're safe. Tearing up. Layer 2. The worry card, dialed up to guilt trip max. I set the phone face down, cranked Buddy Guy louder, his riffs drowning the buzz for a minute. Scout nudged my knee, his wet nose a small comfort, like he sensed the storm. But it didn't last. Another vibration, Dad's rare entry. Disappointed. Family sticks together. Sticks together? Except when it meant respecting my spot. For a heartbeat, I toyed with replying, some snappy comeback to call their bluff. But no, that'd feed the loop. Instead, the resolve clicked. Let the silence speak. The escalation peaked with Brooke's final salvo. Acting like a child. Grow up and respond. Child. That scorched layering on the attack. Me as the problem child. I drained the wine, stared at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. Was this rock bottom for them? A wake-up to reflect? Or just more ammo for their arsenal? The phone went quiet at last, but the quiet roared louder than any ping. The phone went quiet at last, but the quiet roared louder than any ping. I slumped deeper into the couch, Scout's warm weight against my leg grounding me as the wine glass sat empty on the coffee table. The ceiling fan spun lazy circles, casting shadows that danced across the walls of my Wrigleyville apartment. Brooke's final text, acting like a child, grow up and respond, burned in my head like a bad chart note. My fingers itched to fire back, to lay out every slight from the past decade, but I held off. No point feeding their script. Instead, I grabbed my phone, scrolled past the family chat's venom, and dialed Mia. If anyone could pull me out of this spiral, it was her. The line barely rang once before her voice cut through, sharp and warm, like she'd been waiting. Kendall, girl, what's good? Or judging by the hour, what's bad? I let it spill, pacing the hardwood floor, Scout trailing my steps. Mia, they did it again. Anniversary party, and I'm stuck at the kiddie table with Uncle Ray and Nina, like I'm some spinster aunt. Brooke called it logistics, said I'm great at rolling with it. Total BS. I bailed, paid my tab, and now they're blowing up my phone, calling me selfish, childish, the works. My voice cracked, the hurt leaking out despite my best effort to keep it locked down. I recounted the seating chart sting, Brooke's pity act, the family's silent complicity, the texts piling on, Mom's we're worried, Travis's overkill, Dad's rare, disappointed. Mia listened, humming now and then, letting me vent. Sounds like they pulled the full playbook, she said when I paused for breath. First the pity, then the guilt, now the attack. Classic. Kendall, don't you dare apologize. You didn't ditch. They pushed you out. Mia and I go way back, bonded in nursing school over late-night study sessions and greasy diner runs after clinicals. She's a social worker now, slicing through family drama like it's her day job, which it kinda is. She'd been my anchor through every family fumble, like when I crashed at her place post-graduation after Brooke forgot to invite me to her kid's christening. Remember that time they left you out of the family photo at Thanksgiving? Mia said, voice low but pointed. You were stuck washing dishes while they posed for the perfect shot. Same vibe. They're not seeing you, Kendall. Not your ER saves, not your hustle. You're out here living your truth, and they're mad you don't fit their mold. Her words hit like a clean IV push, steadying the chaos. I flopped back onto the couch, Scout nudging my hand. Yeah, but the guilt's real, me. Mom's tearing up, Dad's disappointed. Maybe I should have stayed. Hashed it out. Mia snorted, loud enough to make me smirk. Nah, screw that. Staying would have been you swallowing their crap again. You walked. That's power. Let 'em sit with it. Bet they're sweating now, wondering why you're not begging to make nice. She paused, then her tone shifted, all strategy. Here's the play. Don't text back yet. Live your life, keep killing it. But if you want to poke the bear, send a late anniversary gift. Something sweet, pointed, like a framed photo of their wedding. Not an apology, just a move to see if they'll own their part or double down. Bet they'll squirm. I laughed, the first real one all night. the knot in my chest loosening. You're evil, me. I love it. Frame it is. We kicked around gift ideas, photo from mom and dad's 90s vows, maybe a card with a subtle jab like, here's to milestones we all celebrate. It felt petty, but perfect. A way to keep my ground without sinking to their level. You're a genius, I said, scribbling the plan on a stray post-it. Gotta keep them guessing, right? Then Mia flipped it, her voice softening. Real talk, though. How you holding up? I know this family stuff cuts deep. I sighed, running a hand through my hair. It's heavy. Like, I'm proud of my life. No strings, saving lives. Scout is my wingman. But they make me feel like I'm failing some test I didn't sign up for. Mia got quiet, then shared her own slice. You know my folks pulled the same on me. Kept asking when I'd settle down after I ditched that dead-end engagement. Took me moving across town and building my own crew to realize I don't need their gold star. You don't either, Kendall. Your ER wins, that apartment, Scout's goofy face. That's your gold. They don't get to dim it. Her story echoed mine, the pressure to fit a mold neither of us wanted. We'd both chosen paths that didn't come with picket fences, and it bonded us tighter than ever. Thanks, me, I said, throat tight. You always know how to pull me back. We talked another half hour, her dishing about a new case at work, a kid navigating foster care drama, while I vented more about the family's playbook. By the end, I felt steadier, like I'd triaged my own headspace. Hanging up, I pulled up an online Photoshop, ordered a sleek frame with a shot of mom and dad cutting their wedding cake, all smiles and 90s hair, added a note. Happy 30th. Sorry I missed the toast. Short, sweet, with just enough edge. As I hit confirm, Scout let out a sleepy yawn, and I grinned. Maybe this gift would crack their armor, make them see the line they'd crossed. Or maybe they'd spin it again, but either way, I was done bending. The order confirmation pinged, and for a second, I let myself hope it'd shift something. But knowing my family, would it? The order confirmation pinged, and for a second, I let myself hope it'd shift something. But knowing my family, would it? I leaned back on the couch. Scout's snores a soft rhythm in the quiet apartment, and stared at the framed photo order on my phone. A small rebellion, but it felt like a lifeline. The next morning, I needed air. Something to shake off the family static. I leashed Scout and headed to Brood Awakening, the coffee shop a few blocks down in Wrigleyville, where the smell of roasted beans and the hum of indie playlists always reset my head. It was a crisp November Saturday, leaves crunching underfoot, the kind of day that makes you feel alive if you let it. I grabbed a corner table by the window. Scout sprawled under my chair and was halfway through my oat milk latte when a familiar voice cut through the chatter. Kendall? No way, is that you? Lila Martinez stood there, tray in hand, her dark curls loose and that same easy grin from our Northwestern days. We'd worked the same ER shifts back when I was fresh out of school. Her always quick with a quip to diffuse a tense night. Now she was at Rush Medical Center, climbing the ladder. Lila, girl, it's been forever, I said, standing for a quick hug, her coffee sloshing as we laughed. We slid into catching up, the kind of talk that flows like you never missed a beat. She asked about my ER grind, and I spilled about a recent shift. 12 hours of chaos, including a car crash victim who coded twice before we got him stable. I was running point, calling for EPI, syncing with the trauma team. Guys breathing now because we didn't blink, I said, the pride sneaking into my voice. Lila nodded, eyes sharp. That's you, Kendall. Cool as ice under fire. Bet you're still the one they lean on when it hits the fan. She leaned forward, lowering her voice like she was sharing a secret. Speaking of, I'm lead nurse at Rush now. We've got an opening for a senior RN, someone to run the show in high-stakes moments. You'd crush it. Interested? My jaw dropped a bit. Lead nurse at Rush? Better pay, more clout, a chance to shape the team. But doubt crept in, cold as the draft from the window. Was I ready to leap? I'd been at Northwestern 5 years. Comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. "Whoa, that's big," I said, stirring my latte to buy time. "I mean, I'm good where I'm at, but tell me more." Lila grinned, undeterred, and laid it out. Bigger team, cutting-edge protocols, a shot at mentoring new grads like I'd done with Jamie. "You're not stalling out, Kendall," she said, reading my hesitation. "You're built for this. Don't let yourself get stuck." Stuck. That word hit like a monitor beep, echoing the rut I'd felt with my family's dismissals. At home, I was the kid sister, sidelined at their party, my ER wins brushed off like small talk. Flash to last month's family barbecue, when I'd shared about running that mass casualty drill, only for Travis to pivot to his sales bonus and Brooke to gush over her kid's spelling bee. My career, my grind, it was invisible to them. But here was Lila, seeing it, handing me a ladder to climb higher. The contrast burned. My family's indifference versus this shot to level up. "I've been coasting, haven't I?" I admitted, half to her, half to myself. "Like, I love my gig, but maybe I'm scared to push for more. Scared it won't matter to them." Lila's eyes softened. "Screw them. This is for you. You're out here saving lives. Own that." Her words flipped a switch. The hesitation melted, replaced by a spark of excitement, like the rush of a successful code. Lead nurse meant calling bigger shots, shaping protocols, maybe even teaching. Like that time I walked Jamie through a tricky IV start, her grin when it worked worth every second. I could feel the pull, the chance to break out of the box my family kept shoving me into. "Okay, I'm listening," I said, leaning in. "What's the next step?" Lila clapped her hands, her enthusiasm infectious. "That's my girl. I'll hook you up with Elena, my director. She'll love you. Coffee next week to talk details?" I nodded, the idea taking root, a flicker of something bold. As we swapped numbers and hugged goodbye, Scout wagging at Lila's feet, I felt lighter, like I'd shed a layer of their baggage. But as I stepped back into the chilly air, the gift order confirmation still lingered in my mind. Would it land with my family, or just sink into their usual silence? Would it land with my family, or just sink into their usual silence? The question trailed me like Scout's leash as I stepped out of brood awakening, the November chill snapping me back to focus. Lila's offer, a lead nurse gig at Rush, lit a fire under me, but doubt still gnawed. Could I really make the jump? By Monday, I was back in the ER at Northwestern, the familiar buzz of monitors and antiseptic grounding me. Mid-shift, charting a patient's vitals at the nurse's station, my phone vibrated against my scrub pocket. Brooke's name flashed. My stomach dropped. She hadn't texted since her grow-up jab post-anniversary party. Maybe she'd gotten the framed photo I sent. Maybe she was ready to own her part. I stepped into the break room, the hum of the vending machine muffling the ER chaos, and answered. "Hey, Brooke, what's up?" Her voice was all sugar, no spice. "Kendall, just checking in. You okay after, the party thing?" My guard went up. This wasn't her apology tone. "I'm fine," I said, clipped. "Work's busy. What's this about?" A pause, then the pivot. "Well, Mom's still upset you bailed. We're just worried you're, pulling away. Family's everything, right?" There it was, layer 1 of their playbook. Fake concern to reel me back. No mention of the gift, the seating chart, nothing. Just more guilt. "Brooke, I'm at work," I said, voice tight. "Not the time?" She sighed, all martyr. "Fine, just don't ghost us, okay? It's hard on everyone." I hung up, cheeks hot, the embarrassment creeping in as Jamie, the new grad, shot me a curious glance from the hallway. Great. Family drama bleeding into my work bubble. I shoved the phone away, but the sting lingered, like a missed vein on a tough stick. Later that day, I caught a rare quiet moment and ducked into the staff lounge to email Lila's director, Elena, about the Rush gig. My fingers hovered over the send button. Why was I so nervous? I'd run codes under worse pressure. Before I could overthink, I hit send and headed to my shift debrief with my current boss, Dr. Patel. He'd always had my back, so I laid it out. Lila from Rush reached out about a lead nurse spot. Better pay, bigger role. Thinking of going for it. Patel leaned back, his coffee mug steaming. Kendall, you're a rock star here. Rush'd be lucky to have you. You've got the chops. Remember that pileup last month? You ran point like a pro. His vote of confidence hit like a shot of adrenaline, washing out Brooks' call. Thanks, Doc, I said, grinning. I'll let you know how it shakes out. By Wednesday, I was in Rush's sleek conference room for the interview, my palms sweaty despite the air-conditioned chill. Elena, a sharp woman with a no-nonsense vibe, grilled me on high-stakes scenarios. Mass casualty protocols, mentoring newbies, handling budget cuts. I leaned on that car crash case from last week, coordinating 3 trauma bays, syncing with surgeons, keeping the team steady. We got him to the OR breathing, I said, voice steady. It's about staying calm and calling the shots. Elena nodded, scribbling notes. Then she introduced Zoe, a bubbly RN intern with braids and a quick laugh who'd be shadowing the team. Zoe's our rising star, Elena said. You'd be guiding folks like her. Zoe grinned. Heard you're a beast in the ER, Kendall. Teach me your ways? I laughed, the tension easing. This felt right, like a place I could grow. An hour later, Elena walked me out, her handshake firm. You're our pick. Lead nurse, 15% pay bump, start in 2 weeks. Deal? My heart raced like I'd just cleared a code. Deal, I said, the word tasting like victory. As I stepped into the elevator, Zoe gave me a thumbs up, her energy infectious. Back in my car, I let out a whoop, the skyline gleaming through the windshield. This was mine, proof I wasn't stalling out no matter what my family thought. Brooks' call replayed, her worried act now laughably hollow against this win. But as I drove home, the photo frame nagged at me. Had it even arrived? Would they ever see me the way Elena and Zoe did? Or was their silence just waiting to hit harder? Had it even arrived? Would they ever see me the way Elena and Zoe did? Or was their silence just waiting to hit harder? The high from landing the Rush gig carried me home, the Chicago skyline fading in my rear view as I pulled into Wrigleyville. Scout greeted me with his usual tail wag frenzy, and I sank onto the couch, still buzzing. I fired up LinkedIn, fingers flying to share the win. Thrilled to announce I'm joining Rush Medical Center as lead nurse, grateful for new challenges and a killer team. #nursing #new chapter. I tagged Elena and Zoe, picturing their grins. Posted it, refreshed once. Likes from Jamie, Patel, even Lila rolled in quick. Beast mode, Kendall, Zoe commented, fire emojis galore. I grinned, waiting for the family group chat to light up. Mom's always on her iPad. Travis brags about his LinkedIn hustle. Surely they'd see this. Hours ticked by. Nothing. Not a like, not a text. Just dead air. Like my news was white noise to them. The silence stung worse than Brooks' call at work. Like they'd collectively decided my leap didn't rate. It wasn't just ignoring a post. It felt like a verdict. Kendall's wins don't count. Thanksgiving loomed a week later. The family's annual bash at Mom and Dad's in Evanston. All mashed potatoes, turkey, and their usual when's Kendall settling down jabs. I stared at the group chat invite. Brooks, can't wait to see everyone, with heart emojis. Mom's, bring your stretchy pants, and felt my stomach twist. The framed photo I'd sent for their anniversary? Delivered, per the tracking, but not a peep about it. No thanks, no mention, just more of their mute treatment. I'd been down this road, showing up, playing nice, only to be sidelined with the kids or quizzed on my dating life while Travis's sales pitch or Brooks' PTA glory hogged the spotlight. Not this time. I texted Mia. Skipping tea giving. Need a breather. Door County? Her reply was instant. Hell yeah, girl. Go live your best life. I'm stuck with my in-laws. Pray for me. I booked a cabin up north, just me and Scout, craving the quiet of Lake Michigan's shore over their noise. Door County was a balm, all pine-scented air and waves lapping the rocky beach. I hiked Peninsula State Park, with Scout bounding ahead, his ears flopping as he chased gulls. The trails wound through cedars, sunlight slicing through, and for the first time in weeks, I could breathe without the weight of their expectations. I snapped a selfie with the Eagle Bluff Lighthouse behind me, posted it to Insta. Thankful for peace and pause. Hashtag Door County Namaj solo vibes. No family tags this time. Just for me. Back at the cabin, I roasted marshmallows over a fire pit, the crackle drowning out the what-ifs. But the silence from them gnawed, each unliked post a fresh jab. Were they even noticing I wasn't there? Or was this another Kendall's fine, she's independent brush-off? I sipped hot cider, staring at the flames, wrestling with the quiet. It wasn't just absence. It felt like they were saying my life didn't measure up, not without their approved checkboxes. Then, late that night, my phone pinged. A DM from Aunt Carla, Mom's sister, who usually stayed out of the fray. Hey Kendall, saw your LinkedIn post. Huge congrats, you're killing it. Look, I shouldn't stir the pot, but Brooke's been off about your new job. Said at brunch it's great, but not like raising kids. Sounds like she's jealous you're out there shining without her script. Keep doing you. My jaw dropped. Jealous? Brooke, the golden child with the perfect family, envying me? I reread it, the firelight flickering across my screen. All those years of her pity, her logistics excuses, the seating chart. Suddenly, it clicked. This wasn't just oversight. It was her measuring her life against mine and coming up short. The twist hit like a rogue wave, upending everything. I typed back a quick, "Thanks, Aunt C. Means a lot." But my mind raced. Was this why they kept me on the sidelines? As I tossed another log on the fire, Scout snoring beside me, I wondered if Carla's note was a crack in their armor, or just another layer of their game. Was this why they kept me on the sidelines? As I tossed another log on the fire, Scout snoring beside me, I wondered if Carla's note was a crack in their armor, or just another layer of their game. Aunt Carla's DM about Brooke's jealousy lingered like the smoky scent of the fire pit. But I shoved it aside as I drove back to Chicago from Door County, the lake's horizon fading in my rear view. Monday hit hard, my first week as lead nurse at Rush Medical Center, and the ER was a whirlwind, flu season piling on top of a multi-car pileup. I was in my element, directing triage, assigning bays, and mentoring Zoe, the spunky RN intern with a knack for keeping cool under pressure. By Friday, we'd rolled out a new protocol for mass casualty intakes, my brainchild after weeks of tweaking flowcharts. Elena, my director, pulled me aside post-shift, her eyes gleaming. Kendall, this is partner track material. You're setting the bar. Keep it up, and you're on your way to running this floor. I grinned, the praise landing like a perfect IV stick, clean and warm. Thanks, Elena. Just doing what I love, I said. But inside, I was soaring. Partner track meant real influence. Maybe even a shot at director someday. I couldn't wait to share it. That night, I posted on LinkedIn from my Wrigleyville couch, Scout sprawled across my lap. Big week at Rush. New protocol live. Team crushed it. Grateful for the chance to lead and grow. Hashtag nursing, hashtag Rush proud. I tagged Zoe and Elena, picturing their likes popping up. They did, along with a flood of congrats from colleagues, Jamie from Northwestern, even Lila chiming in. Told you you'd kill it! But the family group chat? Dead silence. Again. I refreshed, waiting for Mom's usual heart emoji or Travis's half-assed, nice job. Nothing. The absence hit harder than their texts after the anniversary party, each missed like a quiet jab. Your wins don't rate. I flashed back to my first year as an RN when I'd stabilized a heart attack patient solo and texted the family chat, buzzing with pride. Travis sent a thumbs up, Brooke a cool, and Mom asked if I'd met any cute doctors. My big moment, reduced to a footnote while Brooke's kids' preschool graduation got a 20-minute FaceTime recap. The pattern was clear. Their spotlight only shone on their script. Marriage, kids, the real stuff. The sting of their silence fueled me at work, though. Midweek, a glitch in the new protocol threw us a curveball. Supply shortages meant we were short on IV fluids during a packed shift. The team looked to me, tension thick as the antiseptic air. Zoe, charting nearby, muttered, "This is a mess. What now?" I took a breath, channeling the grit I'd honed dodging family curveballs. "We pivot," I said, rallying the crew. "Prioritize critical cases, double-check reserves, and I'll call supply chain myself." I worked the phone like I was negotiating a code, pulling strings to get an emergency delivery by night's end. Zoe watched, wide-eyed, as we stabilized the floor. Later, grabbing coffee in the break room, she opened up. "You're a badass, Kendall. Reminds me of when I told my mom I'm not rushing into marriage. She still calls weekly, asking when I'll settle. Drives me nuts." I laughed, the parallel hitting home. "Tell me about it. My family acts like my job's a hobby because I don't have a ring or a stroller. But this?" I gestured at the humming ER. "This is my life." Zoe nodded, her braids bouncing. "Screw their timelines. We're out here making a difference." That convo with Zoe felt like a lifeline, but the family's silence kept gnawing. By Sunday, I was ready for a nod, any nod. Then my phone rang. Mom. My heart jumped. Maybe she'd seen the post. Maybe this was the congrats I'd been chasing. "Hey, Mom," I answered, leaning against my kitchen counter, Scout sniffing for crumbs. "Kendall, sweetie," she started, voice soft. "Just checking in. You didn't come to Thanksgiving? Everything okay?" My stomach sank. No mention of rush, the protocol, nothing. Just more of their worried routine, like I'd skipped out for no reason. "I'm good, Mom," I said, voice flat. "Just busy with work. Big week." A pause. Then, "Oh, that's nice. You know, Brooke's planning Christmas already." She trailed off, pivoting to the family script. The letdown burned, their indifference a louder verdict than ever. I hung up, staring at my LinkedIn post, still unliked by them. Was this their final word? Or was something bigger brewing? Mom's call, sidestepping my rush win for Christmas plans, left a bitter taste, like cold coffee after a long shift. Their silence on my LinkedIn post was louder than ever, a brick wall I couldn't break through. By mid-December, the family group chat lit up with Brooke's Christmas at Mom and Dad's invite, complete with a photo of her kids in matching reindeer PJs. "Bring your holiday spirit, Kendall," she typed, as if I hadn't just ditched Thanksgiving over their nonsense. The guilt trip landed. Layer one of their playbook, all cheery vibes to pull me back into their orbit. Travis chimed in. "Yo, sis, don't bail again. Mom's making her famous stuffing." Then Mom. "We miss you, honey. Family's not the same without you." Miss me? Funny, they hadn't missed my lead nurse announcement. The texts piled on, each a hook to reel me in, but I wasn't biting. I'd already made plans. Christmas with Mia's crew in Pilsen. A real family that didn't measure me by their yardstick. I typed back. "Out of town, sorry. Happy holidays." Short. Done. No room for their pushback. Mia's place was a warm chaos, a two-flat buzzing with her cousins, her mom blasting salsa, and a tamale assembly line spilling over the kitchen counter. No seating charts, no side tables. Just plates piled high and laughter cutting through the cigarette smoke from her uncle's porch cigar. Mia handed me a mug of spiked hot chocolate, her grin wide. "Told ya, Kendall. This is how we do holidays. No shade, just vibes." I sank into it, the weight of my family's silence lifting with every shared story. Mia's cousin Rosa, a single mom in her 30s, pulled me aside while we wrapped tamales. Mia says you're killing it at Rush. My sister tried that when you getting married crap with me too. I told her my kid and my job are enough. Screw the script. Her words hit home, echoing my own fight. Mia's family got it. No judgment, just respect for the grind. Later, Mia slipped me a small wrapped box, a keychain with a tiny stethoscope charm. "For my favorite badass nurse," she said, eyes twinkling. I hugged her tight, the gift grounding me more than any family toast ever had. This was family, blood or not. Back at Mia's, post-dinner, sprawled on her couch with fairy lights twinkling, my phone rang. Greg, my cousin from Dad's side, who usually stayed off the family drama radar. I braced myself, expecting another guilt jab. "Kendall, Merry Christmas," he started, voice low, like he was sneaking the call. "Look, I heard about the anniversary party and Thanksgiving. Didn't want to pile on, but there's something you should know." My pulse quickened, Scout's warmth against my leg back home a distant memory as I gripped the phone. "Brooke's been talking at family dinners," he said. "She's acting all proud of you to Mom and Dad, but behind it, she's salty. Said stuff like, Kendall's job is great, but it's not like raising a family. Turns out, she didn't invite you to her kid's 3rd birthday last year, on purpose. Told Aunt Carla you'd steal the focus with your fancy nurse stories. She's jealous, plain and simple." My jaw hit the floor. Jealous? Brooke, with her perfect suburban setup, sidelining me not out of oversight but spite? The twist rewrote everything. The seating chart, the ignored posts, the logistics excuses. It wasn't just neglect. It was her trying to dim my light to keep hers brightest. I thanked Greg, my mind reeling as I hung up. Mia caught my look. "What's up?" I spilled it, the words tumbling out. Brooke's deliberate snub, the birthday exclusion, the jealousy. Mia whistled low. "That's next level petty. She's threatened because you're out here thriving without her playbook." The revelation burned, but it also clicked. Every time I shone, Brooke had pushed me to the kids' table, literally and figuratively. Yet here, with Mia's family, I was seen. Celebrated, even. As I helped clear plates, Rosa's laugh echoing and Mia's playlist thumping, I felt a shift. Maybe peace wasn't with my blood family, but with this chosen one. Still, Greg's call planted a seed. Brooke's jealousy meant she saw my wins, even if she wouldn't admit it. Would she ever own up? Or was this just the start of a bigger showdown? Would she ever own up? Or was this just the start of a bigger showdown? Greg's call about Brooke's jealousy churned in my head as I drove back from Mia's, the Christmas lights of Pilsen fading behind me. Back in my Wrigleyville apartment, Scout's tail thumped a welcome, but the high from Mia's chosen family warmth couldn't fully drown out the sting of Brooke's deliberate snubs. A week into January, my phone pinged with a text from Brooke, her name flashing like a warning light. "Kendall, I'm sorry if the party upset you. Can we talk? Didn't mean to make you feel left out." If. That word was a red flag, a half-assed apology that dodged the real issue. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering. Part of me wanted to let it slide, keep the peace, but Greg's words echoed. She'd cut me out of her kid's birthday on purpose. No more swallowing her script. I typed back, steady but sharp. "Brooke, it's not just the party. It's the pattern. Seating charts, ignored wins, leaving me out of family stuff. Own that, then we'll talk." I hit send, heart pounding like I'd just called a code, waiting for her reply. Crickets. Typical. Hoping to clear the air, I took a risk and invited the family to my place for dinner, thinking a home-cooked spread might force a real convo. I spent a Saturday prepping. Roasted chicken, garlic mashed potatoes, the works, my tiny kitchen smelling like a Food Network set. Mom, Dad, Brooke, and Travis showed, but the vibe was off from the jump. Brooke barely touched the food, fussing over her kids' plates, while Travis scrolled his phone, muttering about work. Mom smiled weakly, complimenting the table setup but dodging my eyes. Dad asked about my rent, like my lead nurse gig was a side hustle. I tried steering to my rush protocol win, but Brooke cut in with a story about her PTA fundraiser. The dinner flopped, their half-hearted thanks echoing as they left early. No mention of my text, no acknowledgement, just more of their dismissal. I washed dishes alone, Scout licking crumbs, the silence louder than their chatter. Then, the group chat exploded. A week later, Brooke forwarded an email from the anniversary party venue. An unpaid $500 bar tab, my name listed because I'd paid for my apps. "Kendall, you said you handled your part?" Brooke texted, all accusatory. My blood boiled. She'd seen me settle my tab, but now I was the scapegoat. I fired back. "I paid for my apps and water. Check the receipt." Travis jumped in. "Come on, don't make this a thing. Just cover it." Mom, "Let's not fight. Kendall, can you chip in for family's sake?" The escalation hit like a trauma bay pileup. Layer 1, pin it on me. Layer 2, guilt me into fixing it. I called the venue, confirmed my tab was clear, and sent a screenshot to the chat. "Settled my part. Someone else didn't." Brooke's reply was instant. "Mistakes happen. No need to point fingers." Classic. Flip the blame, keep me on the hook. I was done playing. Days later, another ping. This time Travis, his tone softer. "Hey, Kendall. Been talking to my therapist about family stuff. I'm sorry for piling on. Didn't realize how much we've been brushing you off. You're killing it at work. Proud of you." My jaw dropped. Travis, Mr. Sales Star, owning up? It felt real, like he'd actually reflected, but skepticism lingered. Could I trust it? Then Mom texted, no call, just words. "Miss you, honey. Hate how things are. Let's fix this." Her message hit softer, but it lacked the weight of Brooke's dodge. I didn't reply, letting their words sit like an open chart, unresolved. Travis's apology and Mom's outreach felt like a step, but Brooke's silence on my call-out loomed larger. As I prepped for my next shift at Rush, Zoe's laugh from the break room in my mind. I wondered if these apologies were a real olive branch, or just another layer of their game, setting me up for the next round. As I prepped for my next shift at Rush, Zoe's laugh from the break room in my mind. I wondered if these apologies were a real olive branch, or just another layer of their game, setting me up for the next round. Travis's therapy-fueled sorry, and Mom's text felt like cracks in the wall. But Brooke's dodge on my call-out hung heavy. By February, Rush handed me a bigger win. Elena pulled me into her office, her smile wide. "Kendall, your protocol's cutting wait times. You're on partner track. Congrats." Partner track. The words hit like a clean pulse ox reading, proof I was building something real. I posted it on LinkedIn from my apartment, Scout dozing on the rug. "Honored to be on partner track at Rush. Grateful for the team and the grind. Hashtag nursing. Hashtag next level." Zoe and Lila's likes rolled in fast, comments hyping me up. Then, a shock. Mom's heart emoji popped up, followed by Travis's, "Proud of you, sis." Even Dad, Mr. Rolex, dropped a, "Well done." Brooke's like came last, a day late, no comment. Typical. Their belated clicks felt like a nod, but too little, too late. After years of their silence on my wins. Spring brought their vow renewal, a redo of Mom and Dad's 30th at a Lakeview rooftop. I hesitated, but agreed to help Brooke plan, hoping her apology might finally surface. I coordinated catering, Italian, their favorite, and arranged the florist for lilies, my peace offering. At the event, I worked the room, ensuring the DJ hit their old-school playlist. Mom found me by the dessert table, her eyes soft. "Kendall, I'm sorry. We've been hard on you, always pushing our idea of complete. You're enough, just as you are." Her words landed heavy, real, like she'd finally seen me. I hugged her, throat tight. Thanks, Mom. Means a lot. Brooke stayed busy, fussing over centerpieces, avoiding me. No sorry, just her usual sidestep. Later, Aunt Marie, Mom's other sister, pulled me aside, her voice low. Kendall, Brooke's been at it for years. She cut you out of family photos at the lake house 2 summers back, said you'd make it about your job. She's threatened. You're out here shining without her perfect family script. My gut twisted. Another deliberate snub, not just the birthday or seating chart. Brooke's jealousy wasn't a one-off. It was a campaign. The final piece came at a nursing conference in May, downtown at McCormick Place. I was presenting our protocol to a packed room, slides clicking as I broke down wait time cuts. Zoe cheered from the front, her grin a boost. Halfway through, I spotted Mom in the back, her face beaming with pride. After, she hugged me, tears in her eyes. Kendall, I had no idea how big this is. I'm so proud. We grabbed coffee at the venue's overpriced cafe, and she listened, really listened, as I talked about mentoring Zoe, shaping Rush's ER. It was new, this feeling of being seen. Back home, I sat with Scout, the city's hum outside my window, and reflected. I'd spent years chasing their validation, bending to their script. Marriage, kids, their version of enough. But Rush, Mia, Zoe, even Mom's shift now? They showed me my worth didn't hinge on their checkboxes. I was enough, period. Saving lives, leading teams, building my own path. The vow renewal, Mom's apology, her conference pride. It felt like closure, a tidy bow. But Brooke's silence and Marie's twist kept me wary. Was this piece real? Or just a lull before their next move? If this moved you, hit like, drop your thoughts below, share this with a friend, and subscribe for the next episode.